So you want to learn how to create realistic AI videos of yourself talking
so that you can be the main character in any video you create?
Or maybe you want to create AI adverts for brands and charge a premium price? Well, here's how to do it all. So let's dive right into this masterclass.
Hello guys and welcome to today's video. We have some really exciting news coming out from Google VEO3 recently where you can now upload your own images and then turn those into videos with lip syncing enabled. Previously, Google VEO3 did have this option to upload an image and turn it into a video. However, with the new update, you can actually get people to talk from those images, whereas you previously couldn't do that. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means we can now unlock consistent characters throughout all of our frames. There were workarounds on Google Flow to create consistent characters in the past, but now we can actually achieve it by just uploading an image that we create. So you can see here I've been creating a bunch of different images of myself with certain products, and I've been swapping out these products in here as well, and I'm going to show you how you can do that too. So essentially having yourself as the main character and then bringing that to Google Flow to make them talk.
So let's dive right into this masterclass.
So you can see here, this is a brand new feature, and I'm going to show you how you can get access to that as well. I'm also going to show you how you can create imagery of yourself using tools like Higgsfield or with Midjourney as well. So both of those are really great tools to create your own custom imagery of yourself with certain products. I'm then also going to show you how you can actually unlock a custom voice, because let's say we wanted to have our own voice or a different voice narrating over this that Google VEO3 gives us. How are we actually putting our own voices on it? I'm going to show you how you can achieve that in 11 Labs as well. So before we get into that, let's dive into how we can get you access to Google Flow. So in order to have access to this new feature from Google Flow, which is the frames to video with audio, you need two things. One of those is an American email account that you have either created while being in the United States, or you can go to a website and buy an email that was created in the United States for very, very cheap. Some of those exist. You can look them up yourselves and buy them for less than £1. So they're very, very cheap. Next up, you need to have a VPN that is directed to America. If you're in the UK, for example, or any other country, depending on what the laws are in your country on copyright and things like that, you might not be able to upload an image of yourself into this section here. So where we upload a photo of ourselves, you actually will get an error message if you're in another country where copyright issues might be a problem. That's why you need to use a VPN over to America. And also, this feature is just out for people in America right now, and I'm sure it will be shipped out worldwide very soon. But as of right now, this is the workaround that you need in order to start creating this kind of content. Now, if you're struggling to get access to a VPN and an American email, don't worry. I'm going to show you the creation process. So as soon as this is launched and rolled out worldwide, you'll have complete access. So in order to get started, we need to start creating images of ourselves. Now, there's two ways to go around this. One of those is Higgsfield, and they've just added this brand new character creation setting here. And under this option, you can select the create a character option, where you can select upload images. So now you can upload a bunch of images of yourself. So I actually have taken 20 different photos here, and you can see I'm just going to kind of quickly scroll through some of the different examples that I've taken. A couple of different poses in there, a couple different cheeky smiles as well of me kind of just from multiple angles, and also giving it context of the kind of like sizing of my frame and my body as well, so it has that context. What you also need to note is that when you create images, it will take the clothing that you are wearing in the reference photos that you provide it. So if you don't prompt any clothing, it will just put the default clothing that you're wearing in the reference images that you provide it. So if you want to be wearing certain types of clothes in your AI images, maybe you could put on those clothes prior to taking your data set images that you're going to take of yourself. So once we've uploaded all of these into Higgsfield, we can see that those are all just rendering in here. It will actually give us a score of the quality of our images. You can see here it says the quality of our images is excellent, and you can actually upload up to 70 images of yourself to train a much better data set. What I would encourage you doing is taking some very, very close-up shots of your face and facial features, so that let's say you wanted to generate yourself in like a close-up shot of yourself posing behind a perfume bottle, you'll be able to generate that using Higgsfield as well. But if you provide it with that exact data, then you're going to get a much better output. I probably could have gone ahead and done that, but for time's sake, this is good enough for me for right now. You can actually enter a name for your character here. It's given me the Curly Sunlit Wanderer, which I think is a perfectly adequate name for myself. So we'll go ahead and create our character. So you can see here our Curly Sunlit Wanderer is currently loading and in the generation phase. I have created 2 different characters of myself already, so we can just go ahead and start using these straight away. And they are using the exact same 20 photos that I've already created. So if we wanted to get started, we can just hit the generate button here. And now you'll be prompted into this section where you'll see all of the previous images that you've created with this character, and you'll also have this prompt bar. Now under here, you can select the aspect ratio of the image that you want to create, and then you can write in your prompt. You can also choose whether or not you want it to be high quality resolution or kind of more on the basic side for lower quality but faster generations. And you can see here, you can actually flick between the different characters by selecting here and picking your character set. So I'm just going to go with the one that we've created already. They also have different preset styles that you can pick from. So whether or not you want to create a certain style of imagery, you can go ahead and scroll through and pick those as well. I found that the presets actually kind of mess up the visuals slightly. So I have just found sticking with the general option and actually trying to get the kind of presets in through prompting is a much better and higher quality way of going and trying to create your own imagery. So with that said, we can actually now start creating an image of ourselves. So in order to do that, I'm going to use ChatGPT. Now, for those of you who don't know, in all of the stages of my creation process, I always like to use large language models. So what I will do is I will actually talk to the model and I'll tell it exactly what I want, and I'll tell it what AI model I'm using. So I'm using Soul on Higgsfield, and then I will tell it exactly the kind of style of image that I want. You can either use the dictate button, or I'm using a tool called Super Whisper, which is totally free, and you can press 2 buttons on your keyboard and it will activate essentially your computer to listen to you. So I can prompt like this. I'm using Higgsfield Soul, and I'm using a character preset that I've created of myself. I would like to create an image of myself where I'm standing outside, and this is going to be a perfume advert. So let's put myself in a nice field, and let's have like long growing crops that kind of come up to my waist height. And I would like me to be holding a Dior Sauvage perfume bottle. Please write me a prompt for that, and let's make it golden hour as well for the lighting. Cool. So Super Whisper will download the transcript of what I've said and now prompt it straight into ChatGPT for me. So now I can just hit upload, and now what it's going to do is read my prompt and give me an exact, tailored and customized prompt that is specifically designed for this exact model that we're working with. So now I can just copy that. And by the way, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Google Gemini, you can use any large language model that you like. Now we can go ahead and prompt that and paste that right into Higgsfield. So we can generate a couple of different options here, so we can kind of pick the one that we like the most. And usually images take around 2 to 3 minutes to generate. So while that's loading, let's take a look at how you can create characters of yourself in Midjourney. So in order to do that, there is a bit of a workaround, and accurate characters in Midjourney is a bit of a tough one. You can see that I've generated a lot of images here to try and get one image that I'm happy with. The thing is that Midjourney creates imagery that is so much better than any other AI image generator. Like the quality, the artistic style, everything is just so much cooler than any other model in my opinion. However, you do get characters who look a little bit wonky, but you can get some that look really accurate to yourself like these. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. So let's start by pasting in our prompt that we just created in ChatGPT here. So I've pasted that into Midjourney up here. Now, under this icon here where it says Add Images, you can see that we have the Omni Reference section. In here, you can either upload an image of yourself by selecting here and just uploading a photo. And once you've uploaded an image, it will come into kind of your library of images that you've uploaded into Midjourney. I've got loads in here because I've been using it for well over, nearly 2 years now. So here I have a reference photo of myself, and this is the reference photo that I have taken. And you can see here on the Omni Reference section, you've got a slider where you can kind of dictate how strong you want the Omni Reference to show up. Now, deceivingly, you'd think that the higher the strength, the higher the reference, that it will actually create an image of yourself. Wrong. It is the complete opposite. So I actually have it on 100 to 150 when I want to create accurate imagery of myself. So if I create 2 examples here and kind of show you the difference, let's crank it all the way up to 1,000 just so that you can see the stark contrast between the two. We're going to be creating 2 different images here. Now, while that's loading, let's take a look at Higgsfield, and we can see that we've now created this imagery of ourselves standing in this field holding a perfume bottle. So this is really cool, and I actually really like it. And you can see that it's taken the reference of the white shirt that I provided in the reference photos, like the training data that I provided, and it's actually put on some custom clothing in some of these examples. So that's really cool, and I'm actually very happy with how those have turned out. So let's say we can download one of these and we'll use those in the future. And while that's loading, we can see exactly the kind of imagery that we're going to get here in Midjourney. Now, we can see that this isn't actually creating an image of a reference image of myself very well. While this is kind of preloading in here, there's a few issues. Now, I can already tell you the reason why we're having these problems is because I didn't give the prompt the reference that I needed to be wearing a hat. So I could go in and I could say, the man is wearing a beige hat and it has the Vans logo on top of the hat. The brim of the hat is green. So now I've provided it with not only a reference image of myself here under the Omni Reference section, but I have also provided it with a description of myself. Now you could go into more detail here and say the man has medium to long brown curly hair. Cool. So providing Midjourney with additional references of what your character should look like, as well as uploading an Omni Reference photo, you're going to get much higher quality results. Now, if we have a look at this image here, these are the Omni Reference images that we used, where we had 1,000 cranked up all the way. You can see it says OW here, 1,000. The images are crap, right? It's like gets really confused. The images are not good, and it's not exactly what we're looking for. And to be honest, these images here are pretty crap too. Now that we've provided it with a bit of context about ourselves and we've provided it with a reference photo, I'm hoping we're going to get a much better result now. You're going to see the stark contrast in the quality of our imagery. It's going to blow your mind. So hopefully we can see some other images here in Higgsfield that we've now created. So these are actually come out and these are looking fantastic. So I'm really happy with how some of these have come out. So I'm going to download a couple of these. And let's say we actually wanted to change the bottle that we've got here to be a different bottle. Like, let's say we have a specific product in mind that we want to have in our hand. Well, what we can do is we can use a tool called Flux Context. So I'm using a website called Freepik here. Now on Freepik, under the images section, you can see here, if we go to the right-hand side, and we go to images, you'll get greeted with this user interface. And you can select the model here and we can go ahead and use Flux and then make sure you're using Flux Context Max. Now, under some of the plans on Freepik right now, you can actually generate unlimited images. So you have no credits that you need to worry about using, which is super, super cool. So if we were to go ahead and upload this image here, now I can go ahead and upload a second image of the actual product that I want my character to be holding. So I have a reference that I've already downloaded already. So let's upload a photo of a Dior Sauvage bottle here. Now I can say the man in the field is holding the reference perfume bottle out to the camera. Okay. Now, we might actually have to generate a couple versions of this to get exactly what we're looking for, and we might have to go through a few rounds of iterations. But what it will do is it will take the image that we've created, and then it will put the actual product in our hand. And you can see here it hasn't worked in these examples, so maybe we need to go ahead and start working around with our prompt. So maybe we need to provide a bit of description of what this actual bottle looks like so that it can accurately put it in. So we can say the man is in the field holding the reference perfume bottle. So maybe we need to change this. So holding the black and blue perfume Dior bottle. Let's see if it now can understand the context of what we're trying to do. Okay, so it's now saying that we can't actually create this. My assumption is because we've used the word Dior in our prompt. So let's go ahead and change that. And I guarantee you this will now work. So this whole kind of creation process is very iterative, right? We are going through phases where you can see some things might not be working, some things might be working. And you can now see that we have kind of put the bottle in our hand. It looks a little bit crap, to be honest. I think I could do a better job in Photoshop. But this is kind of just to show you, these tools where you can kind of go in and add your own product into characters' hands and things like that. You can see here that we've kind of started to do that too. And it does work, it does definitely do the job. The issue with Flux Context is that it gives you lower resolution images. So you might have to upscale your photos using a tool like Magnific, for example, under the image upscaler. And if you don't know what this tool does, you can style transfer images and you can also upscale images into like much higher quality. So if I just kind of scroll through some previous examples here, we're doing a lot of different stuff. This isn't a representation of an upscale. We're taking an image that might be lower quality and upscaling it into higher quality here. And if you take a look at the details on my hands, for example, it's adding in like a bunch of detail into those images. So you could take those lower resolution images that you get from Flux Context and upscale it using Magnific. Cool. So hopefully now Midjourney images are now created. So we've got some images that look pretty good now. Now we've got a prompt that works and we've got a system that works. We could go ahead and just constantly generate a bunch of different images until we get one that looks much like closer to us. And then we can take that image and do all of the necessary edits that we want, whether or not we want to upscale it, replace the product in our hand, and go through that workflow process. Then eventually, when you get left with the final image asset that you're ready to bring to Google Veo, we can now go ahead and upload that image into Flow. So I'm using Google VEO3 under Flow, and this is how you can access it too. So this is the homepage of Flow once you get to it. And once it loads, you'll be able to see all of your different generations in here and all of your different projects that you've created. And I've got tons and tons inside of Flow here. So let's go ahead and start a brand new project. So from here, you'll have your prompt bar where you can select this drop down here and go to the frames to video option. Once you've selected this, you can now see that we can either upload a starting frame. So we can select the first box here. And we can upload an image. So let's say we uploaded the photo of us here holding this perfume bottle. We can hit crop and save. Now, the only issue that we have right now with Google Veo is that we are locked into a wide aspect ratio, so you cannot create imagery or video that is in a portrait version. And by the way, if you are interested, I do deep dives into all of this stuff. So if I'm going a bit too quickly for YouTube here, I go into an insane amount of detail in my paid community, which is linked down in the description. So if you are a creative professional who's looking to stay up to date with all of the best current AI tools and updates, that is linked down in the description. So if we wanted to get this character to talk, we can now go ahead and we can prompt whatever we like, or we can go down the effective route, which is to actually take this image that we've created and go to ChatGPT. And so now I can upload the reference photo that we've created into ChatGPT, and we can use Super Whisper to talk to ChatGPT and start creating a Google VEO3 prompt. Using Google VEO3, I would like to turn this image into an intro for my product ad. I would like this character to hold the perfume bottle and present it to the camera, so they extend their arm and present it out to the camera. I would also like the camera to slowly zoom into the character who stood in this field, and I'd like there to be a subtle breeze, kind of blowing the crops around. I would then like my character to say, Here's why you should buy this brand new product. Cool. So now we've uploaded this reference photo into ChatGPT and we've provided it with a lot of context that we want to create our video for. So we can now take this prompt that ChatGPT has made us. Thank you very much, ChatGPT. And we can now paste that into Google VEO3. Now make sure you're on the frames to video option here and upload your image as the first frame inside of Google Flow. Then we can simply hit generate. Before you do that, you can also play around with the settings tool here inside of Flow, where you can either generate videos with Google VEO3 Fast, which only costs 20 credits per generation, or you can use Google VEO3 Quality, which costs 100 credits per generation. So it's a bit more expensive. So once you've hit generate, you'll see that it's slowly loading in here, and I've generated a couple of different examples here, so let's check this one out in the meantime.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Okay, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's definitely a starting block. They've put music in the background for us, which, maybe we didn't want. That's totally fine. We could keep regenerating until we get something better. The model that I used to generate this video here was not using the quality version. I actually used the quick version. So this is an example of the fast generation. So we're going to get a much lower quality video output from this model, which is why we've kind of got this lower quality version. But overall, we've got a consistent character, aka me, and we've got the product. And you can see it's kept the text and branding very accurate in our video. So we haven't got hallucination in there, which is fantastic. And we maintain consistency of our character as we actually zoom into his face, which is a huge problem that we faced with other video generators in the past. So let's just take another look at, we've got another one that's loaded in here. Let's have a look.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Amazing. So that's actually really good. So first of all, look how far back we are from this image from the start. And notice how when I actually created this image, we created a bottle of Dior Sauvage, right? Which is a perfume bottle. And notice when we zoom into this here, we actually get Dior, and it's trying to put the word Sauvage on here as well, which is insane that it's managed to read that data from that far back so that when we zoom in, it actually has that information on it, which is insane. Also, I really like the hand imagery and acting that we have from our actor here. I think it looks much kind of very realistic and in time. So let's have a look again.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Okay, so we're definitely getting somewhere. Now with Google Flow, what's really cool is you can add this to your scene. So once you do that, you can actually now add this to your scene and you can kind of edit a whole timeline inside of Google Flow, which is pretty cool. So you could actually make an entire advert or short film inside of Google Flow here. Also, additionally, you can go in and adjust the length of your clip as well, and you can extend the clip too. So you could extend it out so that you could create an additional extension to this clip. But we've got our quality version has now rendered in. So let's see if this is any better than the low quality one.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Okay, so they seem relatively similar in my opinion.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
But I'll tell you what, the text looks bloody good on that, if you don't mind me saying. This is very, very impressive. Remember, this is as bad as these models are ever going to be. So it's only going to get better from here. Now let's have a look at our next generation.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Insane, right? So picture using Google VEO3 now to create an entire array of different shots and different camera angles of this scene. So you could go into Flux Context, for example, and you could say, generate a close-up shot of this man's face holding the perfume bottle, right? So you could use a tool like Flux Context to generate an unlimited amount of images from this scene. So once these load in, and by the way, these load in at lightning speed. Look, we've now generated an image of myself holding this product. Don't get me wrong, the actual text on it is wrong. So we could just take this to Photoshop. We could upscale this image, take it to Photoshop, and then replace the branding so it's actually correct. But now let's say we wanted to generate a side profile of this man in the field, okay? And now we'll be able to generate multiple different angles of this shot. So not just like a close-up, but we could generate like side profiles. We could generate a profile from the back. We could have this character we could have this character interacting with other characters in the scene. So let's have a look. You can see the potential here, right? There's so much potential to create an entire advert from all of these tools that I've shown you. So now we want to take this audio and we actually want to either put our own audio on it or we want to put a different character. So that way, when we generate multiple different scenes, we can have a consistent character voice across our entire video, advert, short film, whatever that may be. How do we do that? I'm going to show you right now. So you can download your video from Google Flow, and then we can go to an MP4 to MP3 converter. I literally just searched MP4 to MP3, right? Go to the first website, and then you can upload your video in here. So let's do that right now. Upload the video, and you can convert this into an MP3. So let's go to audio, MP3, convert, and then you can download your audio completely for free into an MP3 file. Now we can go to 11 Labs. If you don't know what 11 Labs is, it is a text-to-speech tool, currently valued at $6 billion, a very, very sick tool. I was invited to their offices recently to have a listen to their newest model, which is just come out and it's bloody insane, so you've got to check it out. The voice changer section here, if you go to the left-hand side and select the voice changer section, you can upload the MP3 file that we've just created. So if I press play here, you can hear that it is the audio from the video that we just generated. Now, where our character starts talking,
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
there, we're going to change that voice. So under the right-hand side here, they've got the voice library, and you can see I have a clone of my own voice that I've created in 11 Labs, and you can create your own with just 2 minutes worth of data. And then you've also got a library of loads of other people in here too. So you can listen to a preview.
Architecture is the thoughtful arrangement of space. Architecture is the thought.
Cool. And this is my voice.
The greatest risk in life is not to take a risk.
So it's pretty good, but not too bad. So let's say we wanted to change the voice to this guy.
Architecture is the thoughtful arrangement of space. To architecture.
Okay, so now we can select him here. So we can see that we've got Bradford selected, and we can choose the 11 Labs V2 model. They just released the V3 model. However, with voice changer, where you're going from voice to voice, you actually can't use the V3 model yet. I'm sure that'll be coming out very shortly though. So with that, you can simply hit generate speech, and then we'll be able to hear the now style transferred audio. So
Here's why you should buy this brand new product. Why you should buy this brand new product.
okay, so that's the new one.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Okay, cool.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Cool. So we've now style transferred the voice. Now, if you wanted to get your voice and have your voice on it, you can, obviously use your clone. That's absolutely fine. However, we have to bear in mind that the accent is American. So to work around that, when you're prompting inside of Flow, you need to generate like your accent. So whether, it's a British accent, then you need to prompt that into Google VEO3 so you generate an audio sample that has a British accent. Because all it's going to do is change the tone, the pitch, and everything like that, but it's not going to change your accent. So if we were to regenerate it in my voice, it will be my voice, but I will be American. So let's take a listen.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Right? So it's like kind of American, kind of like a bit weird, like European kind of twang at the end. So you can kind of see how you can actually use one of the voice libraries. I would recommend using probably an existing voice in the voice library because they have days and days worth of training data on these voices. So you could use one of these pre-existing ones, and they actually have a section here which is best voices for the V3, and these are all of the best voices that you can use. So I would, let's say we take this one.
I must not fear. I must not fear.
Cool, that one sounds good. So let's say we chose this guy. We could then hit regenerate speech, and let's listen to what that sounds like.
Here's why you should buy this brand new product.
Okay, so now you've changed the voice, you can then take that audio file and you can input it into your video editing software of choice to replace the audio. So there you have it. Hopefully now you have an understanding of how to create a consistent character moving through all of your scenes in multiple different locations. You now also know how you can achieve this using different tools like Midjourney as well as Higgsfield. You also now know how to turn those into videos using Google Flow, and then you also now know how to create a consistent voice using 11 Labs. So with all of those tools now, hopefully you can go away and start creating some professional ads. And also, if you are interested in joining the professional community for creative AI professionals, come and join us in GenHQ. The waitlist is in the description. We're launching in about 2 weeks. Thank you very much for joining us on this mini masterclass.